with the draw bead. Passive scale a lot of range, and so you can really get out of the way of the feathers later on in the game. Berserker can then become a real threat in late game team fights, and you have early laning power. Spots out Owner immediately, and he's not going to be able to clear this one out just yet. Still committing to a potential dive though.
Yeah, Dudu of course needs to stack his Q. He doesn't have any stacks right now.
Oh man, this could be really problematic. Let's see how he does manage to do this, as Doran actually tanking the turret, has to flash to get out of the way, and Dudu has survived for now. But now it's going to be Ona starting this one off. Can he actually tank this effectively, as the answer is no.
Okay, well, it ended up working out. Flashless or no, the exhaust gets a ton of value, forces Doran to flash. They get the trade.
While Faker needs one on
going for it.
There's the shockwave, just throws it down where he can. Headbutt pole in from life as Pioshik's coming on over. They get the flash out from Ona. Didn't have to use it on that top side of the map. In fact, probably could have perhaps saved his life, as there's a flash out from Pioshik as well. He's level 5. Another Pulverize comes in as Gumayusi in trouble once again. Explosive charges on in the rocket jump from Berserker, and Gumayusi in so much trouble. There's the battle dance as we've got the flash through from Pungyan, and Pioshik takes down Guma. Headbutt to push Carrier back as well. It is going completely ballistic here, and it's DNF that are getting all of the value. Looks like Pioshik gonna let his former teammates survive.
Advantages and snowball the game. They look for the ult onto Faker, push him down. They have that hiding Alistair there. They can challenge Owner. As we'll hold that thought until the replay here, as we are gonna have a bit of a contest from Owner. Yep. One grub did, of course, go over to Pioshik, but he does not stick around to try to smite a second, which I think is wise in this case. Didn't have his flash.
Yeah, able to just get himself over the wall pretty comfortably. I think he did actually have his flash available, but just didn't want to take unnecessary damage. As life is everywhere on this map right now. The needlework coming on in is now Doran. He throws down the equalizer, but it equals nothing, ladies and gentlemen. He's on the floor. A little bit and all that sort of stuff. It's great to see. But that was once again a little bit of an iffy situation. Pioshik going to be able to take down the Drake though, and it's all fine.
Yeah, they still end up getting the Dragon. That feels really good here for the DN Freecs. With T1 having Faker here, full control of the entry point of this grub, it's going to be really hard to fight this one out as DNF.
Oh, here we go. They did manage to get it. Let's see whether T1 just make out like bandits. Try and take just that one, but instead they're looking for a team fight. Faker with his ultimate back up again. And Gumayusi this time thankfully has Featherstorm. Ona comes in. Dudu on a flank angle. Life gonna have to use that ultimate. Does do so here. As Pioshik just taking his Raptors. It looks like these grubs aren't something they're interested in right now.
Berserker is getting some plate gold here in the bottom lane, so that this comp is very strong in mid-game T1s, especially with the control they have over set objective here on the blue buff.
All right, Life is just getting on in there as Pungyan gonna get flashed on by Faker. The shockwave does connect, and now they do manage to at least go 1-for-1. Or do they? Pioshik trying to get himself out of there, but that is somehow Carrier surviving. I have no idea how he lived there. The rest of DNF making their way in though, as Life once again starting this fight. Over the wall is Carrier, finds the knock up there onto Dudu, who now puts down the mist. He's trying to stay alive, but it's not quite working. The needlework! Oh my god, he manages to get one as Ona goes down and Faker is on the floor, and now the rest of T1 are on the wrong side of the fight. Untargetable as Pioshik's able to take down Carrier, and now Guma with no friends left has nowhere to go.
And they save the turret.
Doran's getting the turret. I don't know whether they're going to be able to save it, as he takes a lot of damage from the turret and Pungyan, as now he's going to try and cook him, and there he goes.
Oh, Pungyan, no flash in this exchange, can't get away. He thought he had the damage there to take Doran out. He loses the turret, his teleport, and his life.
The kerfuffle. DNF being able to win out there. Doran was able to equalize it, grab himself a turret. And first Star Blood actually went over to T1 as well. Of course, 5 Grub's going to be helping out with that one for an Orianna comp.
I'm not talking about the individual dragon that they're getting on third potentially to get that soul, but the soul itself is actually super powerful for Gwen that's going to get low and be in that big brawl and is going to be able to get some of that healing back.
You really want to be fighting around objectives, so it's about setting up for exactly that. And speaking of setup,
they will.
That's what they're doing here to Dudu, as over the wall goes Ona, and they look to just take down the turret immediately. The knockup does connect, and now Dudu's going to try and get in there. I don't know about that one, as Doran's already flashed away. Huge pulverize as the Gwen does go down, but the equalizer positioned pretty well. Buster shot gets Carrier out of there with his life, and the Featherstorm will eviscerate the Tristana. This is the kind of team fighting we wanted to see out of T1.
This is exactly what you were talking about in terms of this, as Doran gets 3,000 finally. Was waiting for a while while for this one.
You can imagine that Berserker would be pretty close as far as what his coffers are looking like. T1 going to utilize that reset advantage to be able to take down this Dragon. DNF not really up with the timing on their best performing players at the moment on exactly what they want to be playing. We're starting to see that DNF not really able to do much about it. His life is just going to get cooked, ladies and gentlemen. He could even just be dead right now. As Carrier goes in and Faker's able to pick that one up, but they also get Berserker as well. Just sweeps them up underneath the turret. Pyongyang gets in. It's another unfortunate teleport for this Orianna, as they just have to watch as their turret gets vaporized.
So I know Pioshik's not going to come over here and look for a smite, but he may look for a kill.
Yeah, he does throw his doggos forward.
But Doran is like, my flash for Otacon, you know, we know Pioshik's not nearby. You guys can press your D key on that one and take it out.
Yep, we take those. Probably what he's going to be saying as Carrier moves down towards his bottom side. I don't think he's going to be saving this turret as Dudu's able to lock that one down. Pioshik in position. Wait, he wasn't even lit on fire because there's a heal on this Rakan. That's just the burn.
Yep, it's just that.
That is insane.
But I mean, that was again with the lack of coordination here for DNF. They're going to go for one more Hail Mary. Okay, They decide not to because their jungler is nowhere near, and I think this is wise.
But I mean, you can't just give everything because then you just lose the game. Equalizer goes down and it's T1 that are engaging. The shockwave lands on absolutely nothing. And Dudu is now in trouble. The Gwen not feeling as powerful as she once was and will be taken out there by Ona.
They're not able to even play the Vision juggle game. They're not able to play the red buff juggle game without catastrophic results. And Faker can solo the Chemtech Dragon, which he will do here with no consequences. And I mean, T1 have the whole map. They have Baron, and once was a small gold deficit, like you said.
Bit of a zoning equalizer just to soften them up and convince them that this inner turret is not worth fighting for. And understandably, DNF will agree with them.
So I don't think they're that concerned about it.
No. And it hasn't really been hitting the right targets recently anyway, as inhibitor number 1 to go down, the second one short to follow. And DNF, I mean, they didn't look like they had much of an idea in the first few fights. I don't know whether much has changed now, as Pioshik deciding to dive forward, does get the stopwatch out of Doran here.
More valuable in the long term, but I just don't know if there is any long term. And now T1 know that they're just like, okay, well, we can keep pushing, and there's no way Pioshik can get on top of somebody. Like, even Guma's like, let me auto this Orianna. I don't care. I have flash ult, and you don't have a Fury ult.
Yeah, and Faker and Carrier are just looking for their opportunity to scoop someone up. Carrier to get them in position, and then Faker just to finish it off as the equalizer goes down. Life goes in. There's a shockwave connecting onto 2, but I think it's too little, and it's almost definitely too late as Ona going forward, tanking up 2 turrets as Life does get the pulverize onto Guma, who will eventually go down. That was actually an absolutely sick play. They trade 1 for 1, get that prize for his team. Dudu also with Azonya's now completed. That is kind of cool. As Faker goes in, finds Pyongyang one more time, and I just don't think he has any way out. In fact, he does not, as Faker goes golden, and the red carpet is there. Life unable to walk down that one. That's a little too hot. Gets cooked anyway by Doran here, as now Ona goes in with a nice knock up onto Dudu. He has the miss down, but I still just don't think he's going to be immune. And there it goes. Pioshik on the fountain. The Sand Soldiers say you are dead, and T1 will dominate in the end of game number 1. The DN Freecs woes continue here in the LCK.
And a big statement win here from T1, bouncing back after that bro loss. They still need to win 1 more to take the series, but it's hard to punish this Gnar pick with Viego. You know, there are other junglers that can be very threatening and punish a mini Gnar. Viego doesn't always quite reach with the hop available, so I feel like you feel pretty safe in the top 2v2 as well.
Break his way over, and all right, that'll do it. He's just fine.
Nice timing on that.
Yep, I guess he just knew that he wasn't in any danger as the Ignite already down onto Gumayushi. He's going to flash. This dive is dangerous, but still able to pick it up. Life just deciding that he's going to have to sacrifice himself as Carrier gets another kill, and Berserker not going to be able to challenge him for that one. So that, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, is a disaster
And
in this matchup anyway, so it's just a bit of a rough one.
Not respecting, but Pioshik is going to come over here.
Yeah, there's the flash in, as I don't know about the angle on the stun. The gravity field's fantastic there as well. And Faker gonna have to flash because there is a shattering strike coming on over, and Pioshik gets his 2nd of the game.
All right, maybe it was good that Viego got the kill, you know?
Yeah, he's pretty scary now.
He may miss the flash stun, but
setting up for these plays quite nicely. Life, of course, his position fantastic there, but T1's still going to be able to get themselves the first dragon of the game. And next one going to be a Chemtech, so no back-to-back Chemtech souls.
This pit, Faker doesn't have his flash. I don't think he's going to come down. They're going to look for a bottom play here instead on the Dudu.
Yeah, the Narstun into the turret, and Dudu does manage to at least get the Counter-Strike back as he throws down the ulti. Doran will need to pick up turret aggro, but I think that was a level up for Dudu. Look at him, eating through these cookies, feeling a whole lot better, but still, he's going to get taken down. Nice little hop to get Doran out of there, and it was a good attempt.
Yeah, it was nicely played there from Dudu. Really nice flash timing.
Still, that is a lot of pressure onto the DN Freecs 80 carry. Doran still realizing that things are a little bit difficult here in the 1v1 as there's the Magnus Storm. He tries to get himself out. Heartbreaker comes forward. There is the Grand Skyfall, and Dudu goes down once again. Doran is still alive, and Pyoshik's on the wrong side of the map. A disastrous dive attempt here as Gumayushi down towards the bottom side, and the Wallop will take down the Rel. And things are going wrong a little earlier this time around for the DN Freecs.
Yeah. And unlike the last time, they don't end up finding any success with their plays. Pungyan is now also 100% dead.
Yeah, the Realm Warp, an immediate Chaos Storm interruption as Pungyan realizes that he may as well try and clear the wave. And he does do that. He is surviving for quite some time. But that's another gravity field, actually, in the same little skirmish. Shot for fun. And Carrier, he's going to turn up. Solar Flare doesn't connect. The Rel is in the area, but Dudu is still going down incredibly low. Good Shattering Strike there just to get him out. But now Pungyan having to deal with some attention on the top side as the stun comes through, and Pyoshik not going to be here in time. Just elects to get himself stunned as they take down the Rise yet again.
And that's feats of strength with the turret going down bottom side here. As it looks like DNF will at least get this Dragon back, trade it for a 1-for-1. We'll see what the soul is. As it's not going to be Chemtech 2 games in a row, so at least that's a thumbs up for me, but...
Yep, it's going to be a mountain soul.
Okay.
But Faker's going to be taking down this outer turret. I mean, this is 6 grubs for DNF. And they're losing structures all over the map.
If you can't hit the turrets, they don't really end up getting much value, do they? It's maybe the last stand here, the last fight for DNF.
Yep, Life is just going to move in, already down to half health as a teleport from the Jax to deliver him to the middle of this fight. It's going to be an honest 5v5 as Faker makes his way down. Boomerang value actually quite high there as the Flak Magnus Storm comes in from Life. They're going to see whether they can get the first kill in this fight. It's so important. The transformation is fantastic, but the first kill, it was T1's, and they line it up with a couple more as well. Now the curtains are being called. The Grand Starfall comes down, and Berserker, I don't think he's winning this battle against Owner, as Owner may actually get taken out here as Pungyan's over the wall, but instead he just flashes his way out of there. And T1, they only sacrifice Doran and they take everything.
Yeah, Doran also played the fight out incredibly well. You mentioned the transformation and tanked so much in the early part of the fight. No resets for Pyoshik, no angle to pop off on this Viego. And that's a Herald getting in charge here in mid, and they're looking for even more.
Yeah, Life underneath this turret, they do manage to get the secondary charge from Shelly before she does go down as Pungyan desperately trying to deal with the wave. He does manage to do that as Faker takes a couple of turret shots, but this gravity field plus Deadly Flourish combination that T1 are using just looks very difficult to deal with.
It's super frustrating. Maybe there is a potential angle here. Life, no flash though to engage. This is going to be so tricky, and they're very split.
They really are. They just need to find something, some form of fight, even if they don't manage to deny this. As the Shattering Strike comes down, Doran's their target. They throw Pyoshik just towards the rest of the team. And Ona just left there to deal with this Otacon. Very happily does so because he's under no threat. As... was that a potential Realm Warp angle? It was not.
I don't think so. And there's no angle to get Flowers either. And then they take the Otacon and walk away. It was just... you know, it was not that interesting in terms of the actual fight breaking out and kills going over, but in terms of technical league play, it was about as technical as it gets by T1.
And nothing that Pyoshik could do, no angle to be found there, and in fact, he's able to stop these backs with that Crush Gnar combo. Now the Starfall comes in. Pyoshik
isolated.
Not going to be able to save this Rise, who had his flash removed earlier on, so that is just a very, very dead bald blue guy.
You see the, preemptive angles there. Doran stops the backs, so it looks like, oh, a bit of a whiff there from Doran. No, not true. He stops the backs, and then they have the Starfall follow-up. They isolate the Rise and take him out. As Duda will pick up some bounty gold here in the first turret of the game for them, but it's in trade for an inner. And T1, I don't think, are feeling too bad about it. With 6 grubs, though, Duda, if he gets enough time, and, okay.
Owner has found Life, but there is, Life's kind of into that. As Berserker just going to throw a bunch of autos into, okay, does he just win this? Oh god, Owner is so scary. There is 990 gold going over to Pioshik once again as the Deadly Flourish comes down. Carrier could be dead. The resets are starting to come in, but perhaps the curtains have now been called. Dudu going to soak one of them. Pioshik soaks another as he heartbreaks his way out. So that's all they're going to get.
Old, so he might get interested.
Yeah. Flash is back up here for Pyongyang as Doran taking a lot of damage. Zenith Blade doesn't quite connect there as Carrier's the one tanking, but Pyongyang's still dead. Oh dear, the wallets be heavy.
They certainly do, and with a very easy to set up follow-up there with the Leona tanking the turret. It's just as simple as that. And now Doran does have TP if he had to join this Baron fight. I don't think he's that interested, though. I think he just wants to push this bottom wave in and start to then threaten there. As Life and Pioshik do show up, but it might be too late. Faker pulls off 4K on the Baron, and I just don't think there's any in here.
Nope, and Pioshik just backs away. They see the Chaos Storm, as we also see that we are indeed floating above Runeterra. There was no real way. As T1 look to siege this one out with their new Baron that they've put together. The Shattering Strike comes down once again. It's a very aggressive dive from Ona, who may actually get taken out here as Pioshik comes in. They do manage to get the kill on the Pantheon. The resets are starting to come in as Gumayusi could be in trouble. Pioshik is kind of scary, but it's Faker going absolute god mode here in the backline. Life going to be taken out. The Death Ray, my god, combined with the curtain call. T1 just say, yes, you do have a Viego, but unfortunately it's not enough.
He's dead now.
Through a team fight.
Yep, and T1 with this wave coming through should be able to slowly end this game. Berserker looking for the outplay.
Oh, does not get it. That's going to be another 300 over to Doran. Pyongyang does manage to get that, but it is a very swift execution here by Gumayusi. And T1, 2-0 over the DN Freecs, and unfortunately, 3 games. The entire round robin, and unfortunately none of them were in the same series.
We'll see when that happens, if it's going to be, at a level 3 where he passed bottom, or is it going to be when they lane swap top side to try to get away from this Caitlyn, then Peanut's there to try to punish. Peanut, you're like, what's my angle? Delight can't go through here, has to walk around the other side. Lehen's blocking him completely, and just, there really isn't one. It's like, I hope Calyx makes a mistake. That's the best we can hope for.
Well, Peanut going to get engaged on here. Lehen's going to get engaged on here by Peanut, as the Cocoon is going to be traded. And Lehen's just buying time so that these grubs go over. There was a bit of a scuffle there towards the bottom as I was watching this spider scuttle away. And Gideon, he knows exactly what he wants. He eats the stun there as well, gorgeously. That's first blood, just nabbed by Lehen's. And Zeka now at 200 health. The Noodles are really cooking well today.
Yeah, and I think Hanwha Life really shouldn't have tried to stick around and try to force a play there in the mid lane. And Peanut is also just dead, right?
There's the flash over from Zeka, but the flash in answer from Calyx. Zeus will put down the rise and now looks for even more. Oh my god, this guy's Jace is so scary. That Gideon gets out, but does have to invest a lot, as now it's his turn to come on over and pay a visit to Peanut. He'll pick up a rock. And you can see Peanut not actually going to be able to stand his ground. Wall comes up here towards the top side as now Lehen's could be in trouble. The threaded volley comes down, but it splits off this spider, and it's going to be Viper taking out his former teammate.
All right, well, that's a successful play there on the top side.
Oh god, Bingen actually trading quite nicely here as the needlework going to be avoided.
Gideon's
making his way down though. And the Impale will be moved out of the way of, and now Zeus is going to turn it. This time no flash for Gideon, and this guy's Jace is just too good. The Realm Warp does come in, and now they're still in trouble. How is Zeus going to outplay this? That's the question I have on my mind. The answer is, I guess we just shoot him a bunch of times. As down goes the Gwen, he's immortal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best top laner in the world, his name is Zeus. He was like, you die 100% if I put the Impale here, even if you avoid it, you're going to walk back towards the Glen. He still lives. Insane insanity.
He's a really good player.
Yeah, he's very important. Yes, he picked this knowing the Gwen was up. He was happy to do it.
Yep, Chains of Corruption going to connect here as there's a Glacial Prison as well. The Chain CC onto Calyx. He is trying to run his way out, but doesn't have flash, and that's Viper picking it up with a flash of his own. Zeka gets out of there. He does indeed do so, as the Weaver's Wall is now on cooldown as well. So the first dragon going to be in the pockets of Nongshim.
And they do not commit to try to contest the dragon, even though they had a little bit more control down there. Vision was Nongshim's as Calyx wants to fight.
Yeah, he's looking for the angle here.
is we're just going to trade soul laners hitting turrets.
Yep, and they knew that they were all going to be waiting there, but the Gwen is still going to die. Gideon gets into position, but not going to be able to find anything. The Impale comes out, he holds 2 in position, and Viper just kills him. So, despite the fact that this was all information that they had, they're not really going to be able to do anything about it, and that is going to be feats of strength going on over to HLE at the same time as they take first turret.
Yeah, this was just more power in the setup here for Nongshim, whereas Calyx and Lehen, sure, they're happy to trade for a turret. They want to get their own top side. That's the best you can hope for right now. Viper on 3 kills.
Oh, Lehen's going to find him once again. This time, the Cocoon is not going to connect, and the Chains of Corruption does. So Viper just kills it.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was alluding to. I was like, Viper has 3 kills, so I don't know if you can find anything on him anymore. Lehen said, well, I'll give it a good old college try.
Yeah.
And
not sure about that.
Viper said, we don't call it that here. We call it university, and
yeah, and you're dead.
This top wave until just now. They both have TP for this dragon as Peanut is going to clear this ward, and...
Yeah, and I think the Elise is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Not even given the option to use Repel, because he's just dead. Not even able to go into Spider Form.
Peanut was on the ward he was clearing. It wasn't a mystery. So he cleared the ward and cleared the Lehens.
Yeah. And that's a happy Penguin, as that's going to be the end of that turret, utilizing the Rift Herald very nicely. And all of a sudden, this game went from being Nongshim had some like cool things that they were able to do to this game is really almost over.
Yeah, I think we know who the great challengers are in this one.
Yes.
No comments from him as he destroys Lehens.
Lehens, of course, is just happy to keep going in as he flashes, does get ignited and does go down to the last tick there from Delight. Zeus moving on over as well as then the Impale does come on down. Do they manage to get it? And yes, it's Gio getting a really nice combo there. Now in the brush trying to line up these headshots, but I don't think Nongshim are going to have too much more. Zeka not even able to throw Gio through the rocks because Gio's already trying to get the heck out of there. And they will lose their top laner, but they sacrifice him for 3. So
yeah.
Sort of aggression that Nongshim are putting towards them. Now Otacon going to be started here. It's the voracious variety.
It's not an engaged support that Lehens is playing. You know, he's playing a Cocoon support. He can't do anything but Cocoon towards his Otacon, so he can't engage on anybody. There's no target. I mean, Viper's got his Edge of Night. Like, who do you even kill here? How do you even get past Peanut?
Well,
good luck.
I think they're going to try and send someone.
They don't even have Realm Warp.
And Gideon is here. Does have Smite, as now the Weaver's Wall to try and break them apart. Great seismic shove will connect at the same time as they're also able to take down the Otacon. I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that as Lehen's going to get slowed down by Peanut. He takes a lot of damage as the Grand Starfall does come in. I think these withdrawals are going to start coming through thick and fast, but there are some kills at the same time as Gio trying to stand his ground, and it's not quite working. The flash out there as Zeka finds a great angle for the seismic shove, and somehow Zeus always survives on like 10 health.
It's a 16-3 kill game now. Chased by Zeus, and now they're just getting completely destroyed by the entire team.
Mainly Zeus and Viper, though. I think Viper has had a phenomenal game so far. This guy's Varus has been so good throughout his entire career, but we're really seeing him be allowed to carry here for this team. 5-0-5 right now on this champion as Lehen's going to go up into the sky, try to avoid some things, but then gets hit by everything and the kitchen sink. Zeus, he takes the turret shot, some sort of skill shot, but it's not going to take any more damage. Here as the seismic shove brings Kingen back into melee range with Zeka, and this is the state of the game. Yeah, Talia is happy to go face first into a Gwen.
If they had a wave, like we might actually be talking about this game is in fact ending now. As at least they get something back on the other side. They force the teleport. They will get this bounty.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be a punish here, but you know, I mean that's. Sure, +1 thing that Nongshim got. 2 turrets, 3 grubs, 3 kills. The rest of the map is blue. The rest of your screen is blue. Lehens is going to make it slightly less blue, but then...
Oh dear, he's just going to die. Wow, you blink and you miss it. He's 1-7. Of course, 9 deaths was the Beryl special in the game that they were actually able to win, concluded. The second dragon will go over to HLE, though, as now Gideon going to drive on forward, looks for Zeka, doesn't get the wall stun though, as Delight also holding onto the engage option, but they do just throw the Skarner back. Zeka is himself actually kind of gigantic right now, 3-0-5, and you can see Gideon unable to really stand against him. Is okay, Grand Starfall going to come on through. Delight going to be alone though, as the Realm Warp going to be utilized. That brings Calyx over. Delight does kill the Skarner, but he trades 1 for 1, and maybe with how far Nongshim are behind, This could be a good outcome.
No, they gotta have a little fun. Calyx is not having a little fun.
No, this is, he's dead.
I really didn't think this was going to be the series that was...
Perhaps Kingen is also dead, as, he did have some mist for a few moments, and Viper did go relatively low. There's the flash forward from Lehans. He knows this is all he wants. He just wants to kill Viper.
He's healing it up.
He's going to be okay. He's going to be A-okay. Baron not going to be around for too much longer here, and not going to be contested by Nongshim either. As we have a 9,000 gold lead. It's almost 10.
I mean, this is not the series I thought that was going to look like this. I thought potentially it was going to be the DNF T1 series where it's just, or that Hanwha Life and Zeus became Super Saiyan, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah,
Peanut.
One of those is Peanut's going to get a cleanse out of Jiu, and they do manage to separate the Elise. It looked almost like they were apprehensive, like, do we have to kill him again? And the answer was, they may as well. Impale going to come on through, but the seismic shove just pulls Viper out of the maw of death. Peanut there to stand in front of him yet again. Protect the president is absolutely right as Zeus dives in on top of Jiu, and Zeka will be able to finish him off. The Jace will be the noble sacrifice this time around, but the Nexus is still going to fall here, and HLE not pulling any punches here in round 2 as the sad B comes in for Kingen just before the Nexus does go down.
There are only 2 series wins. We know Zeka's an incredible Yone player, and Yone pairs really well with Maokai. Like, there's a lot of power in this draft, but I do have some questions about how the Nidalee is going to function here. I do think that this is not a matchup where Nidalee just auto wins like you do in Peanut. Look like they're going to have an interaction here.
Oh, headbutt pull. Lands onto Viper once more. Jiu not exactly offering too much back here, as now Kingen going to have to move on down. Wind becomes lightning, and we'll see whether the Ambessa can get anything done now, as that is already a kill onto this Xin Zhao. Kingen trying to do it, but he does not manage to, and Calyx will finally get in and take down the pesky Nidalee. But once again, it's Zeus in a ridiculous position extremely early in the game, and they even get another kill. Zeka also finds himself ahead. Oh dear.
Gideon just wants to get one and get out. Get one and get out.
Yep.
He's not going to get it.
Actually just flashes on top of Zeka. They're going to see whether they can find it, but he does get out of the way of Lehans. Now Calyx moves over once again. Gorgeous ulti. Of course Zeka lines it up, but Calyx has the answer. Wind becomes lightning, does a fair bit of damage, but it's not quite enough to get anything back, and now the re-engage comes through. They're looking for Peanut. Headbutt pulse comes through, and there are still some charges on this Spirit Rush. Calyx going in, but it's 1 versus 3. Can he get the true damage? He does, but not quite able to get much more, and Zeus now is 0 mana up against the young gun of Nongshim. As we can see, Kingen moving over. The Banana Brush, great angle for a public execution, as now Calyx and Zeka fighting. Zeka with the inside track there as over they go. Kingen actually dancing around this fight quite nicely. Peanut getting taken low, pulverize only onto 1 as the exhaust through onto Zeus. And Zeka getting pulled back with the charm, but they are just being separated and destroyed.
Here, Calyx does get his own back as well. But I think if this is not a Nidalee top lane, the fight looks a lot less close, and yet still Zeus gets a 3rd kill.
Oh man,
and he's
stop it! So ulti advantage now available for Jiu as Kingen underneath the turret. Gideon gonna have to try and turn this fight onto Peanut before Zeus makes his way over. But the problem is, Zeus can pounce in from a very long way away, and he gets his 4th kill of the game!
Yeah, this is starting to look like it's all over but the crying at this early stage, as Calyx is the only good shining light.
Ulted by Zeka, and Zeka just finishes him off. That's a solo kill. And look at Calyx's face there as well. He's like, man, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, he's like, I can't do more of this game. Maybe not dying here would have been all he could have done. Zepize is pretty hard to beat. Only Genji has done it so far this season.
Zeka giving the happy B to his former teammate. Actually very, very cute.
Yeah. Galileo's notes. To see the Nongshim win. Zeus just doesn't care.
Well, he's going to get pulverized. Headbutt back.
Wait, maybe he
come
care.
Through there is Jiu now chasing after him. Can he actually die? That is the question. Primal Surge is not enough, and there he goes. It's not enough to certify, but it's a shutdown. It's a lot of gold, and it's on his area. But I don't think end of the world as far as cross-map opportunities are concerned.
You already got 1 grub, so Peanut's not going to get 6. Yes, and I think Nongshim are trying to repeat this as Viper wants to go in on this fight.
Yeah, he's going to set up some feathers, but it is just ultimately this turret going down without any response on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, basically everyone on Nongshim is trying to force a fight where they have a man advantage, where they have a disadvantage, they lose the turret, and where they have man advantage, they don't get anybody. So
that one now has a Q that can clear the back wave. So is doing okay. Turret number 2 going to fall down though, and I have a feeling this is going to be a theme today.
Yeah, so remember when we talked about, hold on, we don't have time to remember.
There are a lot of people here around there. Flash, Spirit Rush Flash is pretty nice, and in fact, Delight is in trouble. Pulverize is gorgeous from Lehens. Really set up to make sure that he's down as Spirit Rush is going to get another charge, and another charm comes in, another Pulverize lined up, and Peanut could be in trouble. In fact, oh my god, I don't know how that worked.
TP though, TP maybe Kingen gets him, Kingen, how many dashes you got?
Well, he's Ambessa. He's got a lot. Is going to go for the public execution on Zeka. Wants that extra money, but Zeka able to ult his way out, and Peanut is a lumbering tree, and he is going to be able to walk it off.
Oh, and Zeka has the longest dash.
Yeah,
but he wants it. I don't know if he can have it.
Well, he's still going to be able to kill Peanut here, likely. Okay, never mind. Zeka is still alive. He's still here. Let's get a nice little knock up as the charm comes through once again. Hey, so the answering kill is there.
Yes, okay. Zeus making a whole turret here because he's literally in the side lane. But
let's ignore this.
We did get one. We did get an outer turret and inner Schminner, you know? Who really cares?
Outer turrets are the ones that you really want. Rift Herald getting pinged frantically by almost everyone. So you're going to be coming on over as Zeus with 2 items now done.
Yeah.
I would say that is somewhat intimidating.
It's not a hull breaker either. It's just more healing.
Yeah. Or for anyone.
This turret's not going to really enjoy the autos coming through from Viper either, and that's just going to be a dead turret with Demolish.
Yep, 5 grubs.
It just seems like no matter what, Nongshim are trying to patch holes somewhere. Yeah, so let's see what happens if she has to team fight, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah!
We'll see how good that looks.
I think if you've got $1 billion gold, you're probably going to be fine. Is Jiu just going to ult, and Gideon finds Zeka on the recovery, and that's a really, really nice kill to be picked up here. I don't know whether they're going to be able to get over and take the Rift Herald. That is going to be secured there by HLE as Public Execution gets Kingen in amongst it. Trying to keep them interested as best they can. But Lehens getting lower and lower. Jiu does not have the ulti now for this battle as Zeka gets into the backline. And Calix will be able to spot him. Even able to avoid the Nature's Grasp. Very nicely done. Now the quickness comes in. Lehens does get charmed up. Delight will trade himself for it as Kingen trying to frontline as best he can.
But more playable every moment that goes by.
And I kind of lost my mind. I thought Zeka found his way back into the fight, but he did not, as we've got another one brewing. Great charm from Calix once again. Pulverize going to land onto both of the supporting cast of HLE. And Peanut struggling once again, but it's a double knock-up. There's the ulti onto 2, and Zeka just surgically removes the Zeri from the fight. And that takes so much of the steam out of Nongshim. They're going to have to back away. Lehens realizes he'll need to sacrifice himself as Calix flashes right over the spear. Great charm is going to come through as now they're just desperately trying to keep themselves alive. They will be able to do so. Spear slightly going wide.
Kind of bopped by this team that's having so much fun, you know?
Yeah, like, it does certainly feel like the vibes are different.
If you're on Nongshim, you're like, I'm trying so hard. This team's playing with the food, and I'm the food. I'm really looking for the angles. Unfortunately for him, and now is probably just dead. It's top of the morning.
Yeah, top of the morning too. It does deliver Peanut to the team. Charm is going to connect, but now Peanut taking it as an opportunity to engage. Jiu going to turn up though. Can he get into the right position? That's the question. Calix moves out of the way of Delight, but the quickness does so much work. Meanwhile, into the backline goes King and finds Peanut at low health as they just desperately want to get on top of Jiu. He does skate his way out as the spear is not going to connect. In goes Gideon, and Jiu stands his ground. Delight going to get out of there, but they're literally not going to be so lucky. Viper also getting some value as the Dragon's going to spawn.
He has those two, and we're looking at a Cloud Soul point here, but it's not a Soul, so...
Okay, there's going to be a little crash into this turret. Gideon's slowed down, and now he's dead. There's just not really going to be much they can do about that one. Inner turret does fall down. Good Rift Herald value. A bit of a U-turn here from Peanut, as not entirely sure where he wants to go. He is also unsure himself, as he does just cruise into this mid lane to set up this turret for a kill as well, and they'll take that one down.
Nice driving the Yone, but the problem is every time they get an even trade, somebody loses a turret.
Yeah, and they're going to look for a Constellation Peanut here. Let's see whether they can actually collect that one. Exhaust onto Zeka to avoid that damage as Delight just going to play defense, and he plays it beautifully. Zeus now comes on over as Peanut eventually goes down. And it's now protect the president. Can they keep Gio alive is the question, as Viper has so many feathers doing so much work. Zeus and Kingen continuing to fight here, as now Viper with the feathers going to pull him back and take down the Xin Zhao. Public execution is not going to work here, as Zeus is tanking 2 turrets. He just flashes for the takedown and he'll collect it. And Gio, let's see what he can get done here, as Viper does fall down first. The feather recall almost secures
Who's
the
going
end
to
of him,
defend the base?
yeah, this is the problem. You may have sort of kind of done okay in a team fight, but you have not won the war.
Yeah, every single time it's like, oh, and then a turret explodes. They will save their base for now. I just feel like with 2 inhibitors down now.
The problem is there's way more map than that. And that's where they're really having some issues, is the Baron completely unseen by Nongshim. Gideon gonna try and get in there. If they can steal this away, then maybe there's an angle, maybe there's an option, maybe there's a way. Let's see what they can actually do.
This is risky for Hanwha, honestly.
It is. That's a flash charm to come through as Peanut getting taken down so incredibly low. Delight got it back, but Zeka finds 3 with a huge ulti. Calix with his Zhonya's though, and my god, this Ari is popping off, lands another charm. It's a triple for the young man in the mid lane. And now, maybe that chance for Nongshim's looking real.
Oh, it was all wombo but no combo. Atlas, they got the knockups, they had the Yone ult, but there was no damage. Zeka's going to come in here, but he's got nothing left in the tank. He's got to get out. That's a Baron, and this was such a risky call into the Zeri call.
Oh my
If you kill
god.
the Zeri, if you kill the Ari, it's totally fine. This one, but they're on the map. You know, that's plus 3,000 gold on the power play.
And the gold is within 2,000 now. It is actually going to get evened out as Kingen heads up towards his top side. He's got 3 items almost completed. Serpent's Fang actually coming in as the second option is kind of interesting. Lots of shields to be taken down though, you'd expect. Yeah. Especially if he's 1v1ing against Zeka in a side lane, so it's somewhat understandable. As there's a flash in from Peanut looking for Calix, but there's no follow-up, and Peanut is just dead.
I've seen this attempt before. We saw it earlier in the game, and Calix this time doesn't need to flash to make the play happen. People with every auto. That's the scary thing. Plus, Calix is playing out of his mind. He has 10 kills on the R, and he's looking for more.
Another charm is going to connect, and that is the nerf to the Yone at work, ladies and gentlemen. Zeka will be removed, and this turret is going to follow suit. Nongshim are going to win this game, ladies and gentlemen. It is happening.
They're just kind of running it down. Like, what is happening? Like, what was that? Why are you out there? Calix getting disrespected, and he's showing you why you should respect this young player.
10, 2, and 6, Wolf. He is 16 out of 18 as far as kill participation. He is massive in this game.
On 100%.
No matter who you are. As Lahan's looking to try and turn it.
TP is available for King, and he's going to have to use it.
Yep, Zeus has made his way over. Lands the first spear there as Redemption. Going to get Calix's health bar back, and you can see he is not scared to look for these flank angles. Spear not going to connect there either, as Lahan's his health bar very important. Kingen.
He doesn't have a great teleport angle as Lahan's going in.
It's only a pulverize onto 1, and that's an ult onto 3 from Zeka, but he immediately goes down. They take the cow, and the Zeri has got 2. Public execution comes through at the same time as up goes the Zeri, and down she goes, but they've got more damage. Zeus is not enough. He is just 1 Nidalee against the world, and over the wall they go, and they take him down. 7.8k damage for the young man Calix.
The follow-up, and because he's basically full build on this Ari, he just does massive damage. He has the Shadow Flame, he's got the Death Cap, his moves, his juke's fantastic here. Test this Baron. They may look to try to trade for 1 inhibitor. I don't think they can get 2, and even getting 1, I mean, they don't have a full wave here.
Yep, and there are pings out. This is HLE wanting to go for a trade.
They should probably use their Baron-empowered recalls to get back, and they will. He's not allowed to split push. He's just grouped with his team, and that's exactly where Nongshim want him.
Yeah, that is going to be in a turret falling down here.
20 seconds on Elder.
It's now 5,000 gold lead for Nongshim. Not that gold really matters right now, as Lahan's just pressing the headbutt button because he can, as Calix is a madman. They have Elder Dragon, of course, so it's not exactly that crazy to go for fights, as Peanut sets up the Nature's Grasp charm. Not going to connect this time around, as in goes Zeka, but they do find a great redemption for the extra health, and now Gio all the way out the back.
Yeah, he's like not even on the same planet. He's like, there's no way you're getting both of us. It's not going to happen.
He'll just say, beam me up, Scotty, when they like lose some of their cooldowns. Yeah, that's what's going to happen there.
The midway point of the map before they do anything.
Well, Gideon actually going to go in, as there is the flash pulverize onto Peanut. Extendo beam coming on forward as Calix finds yet another gorgeous charm, and they end the jungler. And Zeus, he's on the bottom side of the map. Nongshim, they understand they need to send someone home. They could lose most of their base off the back of this one.
Zeus also backing.
Another beautiful redemption angle here.
King has TP.
Another inhibitor turret to go down.
Hanwha are going to have to make an engage happen here soon. They're going to have to make a tough call. Delight and Zeka, they're at the forefront of this. They're looking at the fishing. Great defensive charm. Minion waves here.
Oh, Cloud Soul, man. The value.
He's just saying you can't actually push to get this inhibitor.
Well, that's a Hex Flash and Headbutt Pole. Zeus just able to get himself out of the way there. The Orbit Accept
Elder.
does a lot of damage.
Elder.
With Lehens here, though, this is Zeus actually buying a lot of space. The Elder has been started as Redemption just to clear up the health bars of Lehens and Calyx, but can they get here in time is the question. As Gideon goes forward, he pulls Peanut out as the Twisted Advance comes on in, and it is the Elder secured by HLE. Now Kingen looking to get on top of Viper despite the fact that the Dragon's getting angry. And Calyx, can he be the hero again? I just don't think he can, as Extendo Beam not going to be taking down this tree. And despite everything that Nongshim were able to do, they just lose out on the Elder Drake because of a pesky kitty cat being annoying.
Zeus still just gets them, man. He still gets them. He still annoys them. He still ruins their day. He still outruns them. He outpaces them. He outsmarts them. And Zeka can defend the base as they push to end. 45 seconds till his Zeri comes up, and that is 45 seconds too long.
Yeah, no Baron, so maybe these minions are killable. The Calyx is really going to have to rely on these Nexus turrets, and Zeus is not going to let him. Charm is going to go wide, and the Dragon is just burning him down. And I think Nongshim, I think they know that this was a decent effort, just not quite enough to take down HLE here today.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.